Hello and indeed, welcome. This is Rob D7 here with some Hearthstone gameplay. I'm going to be showing off my version of the Token Druid, which has been essentially my favorite deck, my favorite class throughout Hearthstone. This is a very tricky deck that is very dependent on what the meta is doing at the time. Sometimes you get in a 20-game win streak with this deck, no question. Sometimes you're trying to get one. So we're going to show off what some of the strengths, some of the weaknesses are for this deck, and then what you could do to change some of the cards around depending on what the meta might be. So just to start it off, you can see it's pretty standard. We have two Innervates. I do double Argent Squire because I really like an early Blood Knight, and I kind of mix those together. So a lot of it's pretty standard. Our legendaries are going to be the Bloodmage, the Leeroy Jenkins, the Black Knight, and a Ragnaros. So it's a mid-tier, slightly higher end deck, to be honest. But it does really well, hopefully. We will see today. And I don't want to talk too much about the deck without letting it play out, so let's get into a game. Some of the things to keep in mind with this deck are obviously control. If you let the opponent get too much momentum too early, it's going to be too difficult to get out of it, which is why the Druid class is getting a new card. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's going to turn every creature on the board into a 2/2 tree ant. And then you could use something like a Starfall or something to remove them.
I must protect the wild.
Okay, we're going first, which is unfortunate. I like to drop anything below 4 unless I get an Innervate. That's kind of a general rule for this deck. And so now we have some good early choices. We are playing a Warlock. Get used to that. Warlocks, Hunters.
The light protects
Obviously, we'll
me.
play that. I am not against using the Power of the Wild for the 3/2 Panther. I will do that from time to time. Depending on what he plays. See, this is unfortunate. This makes me want to play that. However, I might just go ahead and go with the Loot Horder.
Mind if I roll knee?
And I'll hit him. And he'll probably kill the Loot Horder and become a 5/1. That card's really not that dangerous early on, since I have this 2/1 out. Next turn, depending if he doesn't kill anything, I'll probably Power of the Wild.
I wonder.
It's time for a little blood.
Double Amani Berserker, and he is just going for me. Interesting. Okay. Alright, then I'm going to Power of the Wild. And kill one of those. Get a Harvest Golem. I'm just going to hit him again. Do I want to play the Harvest Golem? Not. I don't have a 4-play, so no pun intended. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. I don't know if that's the best plan, but like I said, momentum is everything when you're playing the Druid. You have to have control in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. And a big thing to think about is the longer you play, the better off you are. Because the Druid has just strong endgame stuff like my Ancient of Lore, the Ragnaros, the Black Knight, all those sorts of things come around later in the game. So the beginning, you're just kind of treading water, trying to stay alive, trying to deal with whatever they put out. No good. So I'll go ahead and
For the wild.
take out the Berserker. Perhaps I should have hit it, and then it would have traded for either one. But he seems to want to hit me in the face, and I'm keeping up with him. So I'm not too afraid of that Golem. It can only do 2 damage. Usually I like to have a 5-drop by now. Hopefully I can get a Druid of the Claw, perhaps. Throw out some taunt, or perhaps use it for the charge. That would be a nice play here. This is kind of a 50-50 round right now. It just depends on what he pulls out. That's going going to help him trade pretty well. He keeps wanting to hit me in the face. Nice. Okay. So...
I must
We're
safeguard.
gonna take these out. And then we'll trade that. And maybe it would have been better to take this out, because then he would have only had 2 damage. Probably would have been better to take out the Shattered Sun Cleric, but I don't think it's game ending. More of a matter of preference. Okay, he's got a life tap, so he's low on options. He can only use 3 mana. It's one of the important things to keep track of in this game. It's easy to lose sight of how much mana your opponent has, but that gives you an excellent opportunity to determine what kind of play they're going to make next. So he has 3 mana. He can only play a small creature.
Why do you call?
Black Knight on that. I think I might as... see, I'm not expecting him. He doesn't seem to be the hand lock, where he comes out with a ton of taunt. I think this is just buying some time, obviously. He had 2 mana he couldn't use. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw out the Black Knight, because then that'll be a strong creature out on the board. Trade that. We're looking in a pretty good position. 9 times out of 10, I like to clear the board before going for the face, especially with the more aggressive classes like Warlock and Hunter especially. You don't want to leave things on the board because then they'll get buffed and buffed and you're done. Interesting. Okay. Okay, Force of Nature. Don't want to use that yet. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this. And draw 2. I still have this one to restore another 5 health if I absolutely have to. Nice. Next turn, Ragnaros. Okay, so we're just gonna get rid of this.
I'm invincible.
We're still looking pretty good. We have board control. We have a slight card advantage. See, he knew. He knew it was over. That slowly turned in my favor. There's only a few more days left until the end of the season. So I'm going to try to get as close to Legendary as I can. Last time, with a deck similar to this, I got to about rank 3, I want to say. I haven't had as much time to play this time around, but that match went well. You can see the more you can take out their creatures from the deck, the less options they have, the more damage you're able to do late game. Just try to stay in the game for the first 5 turns. That's all you're trying to do, is just keep the amount of minions that they have low, and try to make it to the end of the game when you can play your big creatures. One deck that I've been having a lot of trouble with is
Malfurion
Warlock.
versus
I didn't
Gul'dan.
see if that was who we played last time, but I guess it's not.
Shall be mine. I must protect the wild.
There's that Druid of the Claw. Can cancel that out along with the Savage Roar. Okay. We'll see how it goes. Can play the Loot Horder first off.
Why do you call?
Maybe I'll play Power of the Wild then. I think I will.
Job done.
Because I don't want to trade that Loot Horder for nothing. It wouldn't be a trade, would it? So he might have something interesting. Second Power of the Wild? I think Loot Horder.
Mind if I roll knee?
Job done.
But I was saying one class that this definitely struggles against is the Shaman I keep seeing everywhere. They can throw out taunts really early on, and it just totally slows down your progress completely.
Hey, give me that! Ah!
Innervate on this down.
For the wild.
That out. I don't know if that's the best move. See, now we're trying to get in a position where he has a creature on the board and I don't. He's going to be able to put a second creature down on the board. I don't have any. Best thing I can do, I do have a swipe, so I can theoretically take out whatever he has, but then, you know, then the tempo is still on his side to be able to put creatures out that I have to respond to. And I can't swipe that. So that is unfortunate. I think it... Loot Horder and Thalnos and hope to get some cards on the board? Is that what we do? I think so.
Mind if I roll need?
We hunger for vengeance.
I don't know if that was the best play or not. I really don't want to give away my Panther for a damaged golem, so we'll do this. If he clears it out, we can try to get some cards. If he doesn't, then I can use the swipe on him to kill both of these. But obviously I can't target him with the Fairy Dragon with the swipe, which is what I want to do.
For the crusade!
Okay, be nice to get my Blood Knight. Clear that out. We'll see what we get on the draw. Druid of the Claw. I think I just go ahead and use that. I think that's the best bet I have right now.
Where shall I strike?
Job's done.
So this isn't the best position to be in. I'm kind of treading water at this point. If he's able to put out a decent-sized creature, a couple of creatures,
So many possibilities.
it's going to be hard to come back. If he puts out a big taunt, I do it with the Black Knight.
Put this apple on your head.
Okay. He's going to try to play a couple small creatures, probably. Whittle this down so he just has to use one, maybe? I don't think he can do that with 4
My
mana,
shield for Argus.
though. Okay. This is not the best position to be in. What to do? What to do? Use the Blood Knight, but that's still going to leave a lot of damage on the board. I could swipe something, but it's not going to clear out really anything. This is terrible.
I wonder.
I think I use the Force of Nature. I don't like to do it. It's going to let me clear out the most stuff. Get rid of that. So, 1 card, 6 mana, got rid of 3 creatures. That's pretty good. I do like to use that as a finisher, obviously. Who doesn't? The Savage Roar or something like that. You give all those +2, then you're able to do like 16 damage in 1 turn. What to do? What to do?
Where shall I strike?
Job's done.
Job's done. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting skeptical about my prospects. He only has 3 cards left. I can play Ragnaros next turn. That's no good if he has a bunch of minions out, though. Swipe is pretty inefficient here.
I wonder.
gonna... What's going on? What are you doing? I assume he's gonna trade him out. He'll still have his
So
Argent
many
commander.
possibilities.
Next turn I can play Leeroy and swipe. And that can do some pretty serious damage. Start to put us on equal footing. I also obviously have Ragnaros. Second Argent commander. Oh boy. Okay. What to do? What to do? So he's got 12 damage on the board. I can take out 2 things. Okay, so I hero power, I guess, the Direwolf Alpha. Swipe one of those, it takes out 2 of those, and he's got a 4/1 still.
I wonder.
Get Leeroy and then swipe that, and then take a lot of stuff down, but then he's still got 8 damage on the board. I could play the Violet Teacher.
What to do?
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna go ahead and make Leeroy. And then kill that.
Time waits for no one. Time's up. Let's do this. For the wild.
Don't know if that was the best move, but I'm kind of running out of options. He is also kind of running out of options. He's down to 2 cards. I have 4. One of them is a Ragnaros, one of them is a Black Knight. So I'm in a decent position, but this is exactly like I said before. It's all about keeping the amount of minions that the opponent has on the board very low.
Glory to the Sindora.
Okay, he's not able to use his blood efficiently. Alright, he's got lethal next turn. I think I have to play Ragnaros and hope it kills this. I think that's my only play.
Win.
Yeah, that's that.
I can see.
Well, back-to-back Warlocks, a win and a loss. So you can see the strengths and weaknesses of this deck pretty clearly. You know, I usually don't see that many Warlocks 2 in a row like that. If I do, I might change up the deck a little bit. I have been seeing a lot of Shamans, which have been giving me a lot of trouble, so I had ways to try to deal with them. But those were some interesting Warlocks. They weren't straight rush Warlocks. They were kind of slow burn. They didn't put out the big creatures and taunt them. They also didn't throw out a bunch of Murlocs. So it's kind of an interesting Warlock deck I hadn't seen previously. Well, anyway, we're going to call part 1 here. I'm going to come back with part 2 with a little more information about what we can do to switch up this deck and try to get some more victories on our way to Legendary. So I thank you for watching. This is Rob D7. You know, it's just starting this channel out, so it means a lot to me if you guys could like the video, subscribe if you want to see more. We're trying to build something out of nothing here, so any help would be greatly appreciated. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again.